Wondering is, if we Gen Zs don't understand the mountain narrative, how are you going to engage us and find a way to position yourself or position these politics beyond one term and beyond the defense of Mulima? And by the way, I'm not embarrassed to be Kikuyu. I'm from Kirinyaga and Nyeri. You know, you can't get Kikuyu than that. You know, I'm very Kikuyu, but we have, you know, but that's just the truth. How are you going to convince us? Because, you know, I'm trying to explain to you the way we see it, right? There is that pride, yes, you know, of being a Kikuyu, you know, but there is also a people who don't see that. And we as Gen Zs are saying we are tribeless and we are fearless. And the politics being done now is the way it was done 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you know. And that is what is really scaring us, because if we divide ourselves, if you say you're coming to the defense of Mulima, then there's someone in, I don't know, Rift Valley or Western, who will also say they are going to that defense. And then there will be another group, I don't know, in, where? Coasts, yeah, we are going to that defense. And then now, there will be a vacuum gap, and then Ruto will become president.
I feel you, and the Gen Zs will help us deal with that nonsense. Because
as you have seen in the clip that we have begun the video with, that is a Gen Z. And she was speaking in one of the meetings that Gachagua was holding yesterday in the United States. And a question really brought up something that stirs up a pot that a lot of people don't want to hear. Regarding Gachagua, how do you involve the Gen Z in your decision making? You rally the people behind the narrative of one term to remove the current president of the Republic of Kenya, President William Ruto. You rally people behind the narrative of Mulima. Now, the question that she was trying to articulate, you given a chance to become the president of this nation as Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, how are you going to involve these young men and women who went to the street to fight for nothing but economic revolution of this republic, to fight for nothing but justice for the people that have undergone injustices under the hands of police? And I dare say that our question was asked at the right time and towards the right man. Because Rigathi Gachagua, during his tenure as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, he oversaw the abduction. He oversaw the police brutalized demonstrators who were demonstrating under the Sufuria movement during the 2023 demonstrations led by Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. This Gen Z was asking Rigathi Gachagua, you have hijacked the movement of the Gen Z. You have turned it to be a narrative of one term. You have turned it to be beneficial to you. So the question is, where do we stand? And remember, the lady that was speaking is not Kalenjin, nor is she Luo. Remember, there is another Gen Z, about a week ago, who spoke in the same, about the same matter, addressing Rigathi Gachagua. But for her, she said she is two-term product because she comes from where? From the Rift Valley region. Now, this one tells us she hails from Kirinyaga and Nyeri. That is where her parents comes from. And she tells Rigathi Gachagua, I cannot be more Kikuyu than that. I am a cocktail of two counties. I am a Kikuyu by birth and being raised. So tell me, Bwana Rigathi Gachagua, after we remove President William Ruto, where do the Gen Z stand in your movement? Where do the Gen Z stand in your coalition or the government that you're going to form. And I dare say, Rigathi Gachagua fumbled his own words trying to reply to this young lady. I mean, out of all the people he never expected Mlima Gen Z to come and tell him the truth. Because the truth is, these people might advocate for the removal of President William Ruto through the right channels. Because one thing that we don't want is somebody that will brew anarchy in this republic. And when I say brewing anarchy, I mean forging a path of violence and chaos in the Republic of Kenya, all in the name of trying to remove the current sitting president and to instill a new president who is Rigathi Gachagua. I mean, of all the people, I always say it's better the devil you know than an angel that you haven't met. Are we together? And that is why the words of this young lady are not ones to be taken lightly, are not ones to be taken for granted. And I want to read a few comments on what Kenyans are saying more so in regards to the message that this young lady put across to Rigathi Gachagua while speaking about everything that is currently happening in the 254. And I want to read a few comments. Max Juma anasema hii ameshindwa kujibu. Gavi photographer anasema proud of my generation. I also say I'm proud of my generation, and also I'm so proud of that young lady. James Gituanja says tribe is a card used only during elections. Kariuki anasema bro ameshindwa kujibu ati Gen Z will help us. What kind of answer is that? We will help you, then how are you going to help us? I mean, out of all the presidential candidates who are fronting themselves as presidential candidates under the opposition umbrella, where is a Gen Z there? I mean, not even as a presidential candidate. Where is a Gen Z that is being considered for even deputy presidential candidate? Not even a Gen Z. We want a millennial. Where? Where is a millennial? In this Gashagua's umbrella. You know, right now they are converging in the United States. Rigathi Gachagua, Fred Matiang'i, Martha Karua, and recently one Kalonzo Musyoka flew out of the country to also join the team in the United States. All of them, they are trying to make money, to accumulate wealth, so that they can use that money to campaign against President William Ruto come the year 2027, and more so also fund teams that will continue opposing the government in one way or the other, either through maandamano or through whatever chaos they plan. Where is a Gen Z representative in that matter? Mona Lisa Outdoor anasema ask that man. Sir Felix anasema how do someone insult himself in public? Ismail anasema hukujiandaa na swali. Binti alijiandaa, ni Gachagua hakujiandaa na majibu. Itsaid anasema sasa unaona vile bwana Dio ameingiwa baridi hadi amejikunja. Sylvian anasema Gen Z will help us deal with that nonsense. Regarding the owner of the nonsense has insulted himself unknowingly. Naomi Paul anasema so in short you want to use Gen Z's. Point of correction, do they elect you to be their representative or bearer? Dr. Rotich anasema Gen Z hawapendi maujinga. Vic Banjo anasema the lady knows because William Ruto wants us to be divided ndio apite katikati. These leaders inafaa wakuja na mtu mmoja. You have a point. Jesse anasema the owner of the nonsense just decided to get rid of himself. Nonsensical suicide. I dare say, how do you tell us that as Gen Zs we are going to help you remove President William Ruto? Then what? I mean, then what? What do we get after removing President William Ruto? To get another leader who has nothing to offer to us but tribal nonsense and what have you? No. I dare say this as somebody that, born and bred out of different ethnicities. I have lived and grew up in Turkana. I am raised by Kikuyus, raised by Merus. I speak 4 languages, 4 ethnic languages. So tell me, where should I stand, Mr. Gachagua? When you speak about Mlima, Meru County is where I come from. But the other part of me comes from Turkana County, where I grew up. Kidarwa yonga anga Turkana Erubu. Yeah, in one way or the other, I cannot allow anybody to take off some of my roots, because them, there is one part of my root that associate with them. No, I want me as a whole. I want me that is a Luo. I want me that is a Turkana. I want me that is a Meru, that is a Kikuyu. I want me that is a Kalenjin. So that, and I mean, allow me to congratulate our millennial parents. They went all out in matters marriages. They intermarried with so many different tribes, not considering where the tribes come from. They intermarried, and that is where we come in as the products of these intermarriages. So tell me, my mom being a Chuk and my dad being a Luo, should I abandon my mom's side to follow my Luo side? Or should I, because Rigathi Gachagua says I speak Kikuyu, now I should abandon my Luo side and follow my Kikuyu side? That is what this lady was trying to ask. I mean, Bwana Gachagua, you are saying we will help you in removing President William Ruto. What are you going to help us with? You are a multi-billionaire. You are a multi-billionaire. Your sons are multi-billionaires. Your wife too. So, beyond these shenanigans of removing President William Ruto, what are we going to get as Gen Zs? That is what the lady asked. And I tell you, these opposition, I have realized, even if you support them, you will realize they are rudderless. They have no other agenda other than one tap, and Ruto must go. And then the question is, so Ruto ameenda, alafu tunufaike na nini? Mtazamaji, that is where tunakamilisha video yetu, but I dare say this tour of Rigathi Gachagua in the United States is turning out to be a very good card for President William Ruto, because Rigathi Gachagua is currently, he is chewing his own words. Ana mpango. Lazo sub, and make sure you subscribe. See you in our next video. This is the Kenyan Daily Report.